Good morning, YouTube family. Good afternoon and good evening, wherever you might be. I'm glad to have you guys come on today. Today we're going to talk about the narcissist paradise. And the reason I want to talk about that is because so many times we feel like we're missing out once we're discarded or we've left the narcissist, even though it was really hard to leave because it seems like we might be leaving paradise. How can we leave that behind? So we look back and we think they're still living in some kind of paradise with their new supply, and here we are out in this dark, cold world, right? But that's not the truth. So we're going to talk about that, but we're also going to talk about how in the world did we even get into that nightmare. And it's a nightmare. It was not paradise. It looked like paradise from the outside. It looked like paradise at first, but it just isn't. It just never is with the narcissist. Well, you guys, I'm going to try to fix my camera angle here. See if I can do that. Yeah, it's a little bit better. All right. Well, good morning to all of you guys. Obi-Wan, it was good to see you coming on earlier and having a little chat with you. That was nice. Let me see. Oh, Obi says, I had to stand near my ex-narc one time and it smelled like raw sewage. Aw, that's awful. Oh, okay. Because you used to smoke. Okay. Obi says, I used to smoke when I was with, I'm not going to say it. Okay. The narcissist is a person. So I'm going to say that with your narcissist. So my nose senses weren't as good and hope it didn't smell like that when dating me. You know what? Yeah, it kind of does. Smoking is not a really great smell. Dana, good to see you. Says, I hope everyone has had a blessed week so far. Almost 6 weeks, no contact. Yes, good job. And good morning, John Bailey. Good to see you. Yeah. Yeah, don't fall for the Hoovers, Obi says to Dana. Like the narcs, they're phony. Yes, the Hoovers is what gets us in, right, you guys? At the beginning, we think this is paradise. We think this is something beautiful, a relationship we've never had before, a connection so deep and so raw and so fast, right? And we think this must be paradise because how can someone connect so quickly with me? And then, of course, the whirlwind romance, the sex might have been off the hook, right? And a lot of times it is, but I have heard of instances where it was not. So sorry for those who had the not so great time. But we always think at the beginning, like this is going to last forever and it's going to be paradise, just like the first 5 days, right? Or the first 5 weeks. I'm not sure how long your paradise lasted, but it just doesn't continue on. Rissa Riss, good to see you. And Tina, good morning. Yeah. I'm just looking at this, some of the comments. Wow. Yep. John Bailey says, mine recently hoovered me, inviting me to a Facebook group. John, it seems like yours has continually hoovered you for, I guess, at least a year that I've known you. And boy, she's working hard. And you said she's already married to somebody else, or at least living with them, and she's still trying to contact you. That is a huge, huge red flag. Don't even entertain it. Don't respond back. And if you can, just block her. Oh my gosh. I know you may not, I'm not going to tell people to do what they don't want to do, but you're still welcome back here. The advice is going to still be the same. It's going to be consistent. Go no contact. Don't, block them if you're too tempted to look at their Facebook or their Snapchat or whatever you're looking at. Yeah, because it only holds you back. Your connection with a narcissist simply holds you back. So I want you to be able to move forward. I want you to be able to see clearly. And you can't see clearly. We just can't. We cannot see clearly when we have this narcissist fog around us, this fog of, remembering or pining for them, and yeah, all this temptation to want to go back. Yeah, it's going to fool us into that fake paradise image again, and we don't want that. Okay, you guys, I'm going to, oh yeah, John says exactly. She is married and you ignored it. Good for you. Good for you. And that's, if her husband knew this, what the heck, how that's the nightmare. He is now living in this nightmare. And we think, oh, we're missing out if we're not with the narcissist because, at least I would have had company. At least we would have been together. But think about this. John's ex is with her husband. And if her husband is with her, he's thinking, supposedly, right? He's thinking that she's faithful to him and that he's her only love and whatnot. And here she is pining for John behind her husband's back, most likely, right? Or at least making excuses for it to her husband, like, well, we've been friends for so long, so we're just friends. Yeah, right. Okay, you guys, let's jump right into Happy Crappy Hour, actually. So, for those of you joining us right now, Happy Crappy Hour is about what went well this week that we want to keep doing and what did not go well this week and we want to stop doing that, right? We want to learn from it. We want to learn from each other and we want to be able to move forward. If you don't look at these things each week or about yourself, it's really good to just self-examine every week at least to see, am I progressing? Am I doing the things I want to be doing, or am I stuck doing the things I keep telling myself I want to stop doing? It's a good reflection time and it's a good reset time. It's not there for you to say, oh, I'm a failure and I'll never change and it's always the same. Don't get stuck doing that. That is pointless. All right, you guys. So I'm trying to think, what is my happy and my crappy this week? I want to say my crappy has been the news. So it's, just heartbreaking. The pain, the anger, the, sadness. And not just that, when I go to the store and I hardly even go out anymore because it's so depressing out there to me. I do go out with my friends, but yesterday I went to the grocery store and what I noticed is nobody talks to each other anymore. They don't even talk to the cashier. Nobody smiles because they're behind masks, right? And the people who aren't even wearing masks, they're not also associating or talking with people. So it's not just that. Well, when I go to the store, mask or not, I don't care. I'm talking to people. So I do. I start conversations with the cashiers, every cashier I encounter. And I try to make conversation or at least say hello to people who are standing near me or passing by me. So I don't want to act as if, oh, we're not allowed to even talk to each other, which is horrid, by the way. We're meant for a relationship. We were built for a relationship. We're not built to be islands and to separate each other and isolate from one another. In times of separating from toxic people, yes, I get it. We do that. But even during those times, you need to have some other good influences in your life. So my happy is that I started volunteering at this, it's like an aquaponics thing, which is so cool. And I just love the people who I work with there. It's only a couple of us each time to test the waters and check on the plants and prune them and stuff like that, which is so neat. But the people that I work with, just so loving, just so inviting, and we have a great time. We do. We just need that. That's my happy. So make sure you get out. Make sure you hug somebody. I know people are like, oh no, not this time. That's baloney. Hug them. Obviously, if they're sick, you don't. But just follow common sense, you guys. So that's my happy, and I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to keep trying to get out and see people and hang out with them. And in fact, this afternoon, I have a friend coming over and we're going to go for a little walk. And then I have another friend who I'm going to visit. She has like a tiny little farm on her property. So we're going to go hang out and check out her little piggies and her little alpacas and her beautiful gardens. Oh my gosh. So yeah, that's my happy. Get yourself into good relationships, build the ones that are hopeful and look good, right? The ones where people are healthy minded. You don't want to get into another relationship where you can see immediately that the other person is needy, grumpy, emotional, up and down all the time. Oh, heck no. Oh my gosh. So I have a story for you guys. There is, I have a friend who has, who has another friend who is up and down constantly, up and down. Come here, go away. Come here, go away. I like you. I don't like you. I like you. I don't like you. And I was just telling her, what the heck? It is time to let that person go. I mean, you don't have to be mean about it. You don't have to shut them out. You just have to not seek them anymore. Just let them go. Like, you know, and they will. They'll drift away. And if they come back, you know, that's fine. Hello, nice to see you. But you don't have to bring them into your inner circle. So I have a friend who's going through that right now with one of those kinds of friends where it's just time to cut them loose. They don't really add to your life. In fact, they hold you back and they make your life more miserable. So if you have people like that in your life who are there for you, but they're not there for you, and then, and I'm not saying like they're giving you helpful criticism, right? Constructive criticism. I'm talking about people who want to control you. And when you don't take their advice, they get mad at you. Or when you don't bow down to them and apologize profusely because they felt that you injured them, and you have to continue to apologize for days and weeks and months because they just won't let it go. That's a very unhealthy relationship. The heck with that. No, you don't need friends like that. Oh my gosh, you guys. So good to see all of you guys coming on. Funky Friday. Good to see you. Says, get your happy indeed. Yeah, and peace to everyone. Thank you, Funky Friday. I love that. Let me see. I'm missing a few. Oh no. Yeah. Yeah, Obi-Wan was saying that he had slept with the ex-narc during a Hoover, and then the flashbacks came back, and then you discarded her, and then the next day, the next day, and then you were unaware of this game, and the injury it caused was classic. Yeah. When we go back, it does. It reopens the wounds. It reopens all the injury that we thought we had healed from. So I don't want you to re-injure yourself. Dana L, good to see you. I think I already said that earlier. Yeah. Yeah. Says that John's ex-narcissist husband probably would not believe it even if he found out. And that's true. Oh my gosh, you guys, I have something to share with you, but I'm going to incorporate that in today's talk about this paradise that we believe the narcissist lives in, and we believe the narcissist carries around with them, this beautiful paradise, this excitement for life, this what else, this passion, right, this amazing sex, or this amazing, you know, deep friendships. You think that this is what the narc is capable of, but the reality is they're not. It's all a facade. It was all an image that they were portraying for you. And if anybody can watch Dirty John, holy cow. I did not watch the series, so I wonder what it's like. But I did watch the documentary. I think it was like a 2-hour documentary made many years ago. And they interviewed the woman who was his target, and I think 2 of her daughters they interviewed. Either 2 or 1. Can't remember. I think 1, because the one that was attacked didn't want to be on screen. I think that was the case. So yeah, if you watch that, you will learn, and I'll see if I can find it, and then I'll put it in a discussion, one of the comments, so that you can pin that comment at the top, so you guys can see that link of the documentary that I had watched. The narcissist creates, and the reason I brought that one up is because the narcissist creates this imaginary, beautiful world where they care so much for you. They have your best interest at heart. And this is how that guy, John, I forget his last name, treated the woman that he made his target. He was out of jail, I think it was 2 days when he met her. So, I mean, holy cow. He was looking for a person to take advantage of, and a place to stay. And he found both. He found this woman who fell head over heels immediately because he just plastered her with all kinds of compliments and how amazing she is. And he's all excited and playful with her and passionate with her. And so, of course, that looks like paradise to a single person, right? So, someone who was ready to find love. And that's where she was in her life. I think she had divorced some time ago and had been working on her career, was doing really well, had built up her I don't want to call it a fortune, maybe it was, but she had quite a nice home and quite a nice lifestyle. And she said the only thing missing, and she had a lot of friends, so the only thing missing was romance. And here comes the biggest, most, I mean, just the perfect example of a narcissist. He comes onto the scene and makes her believe that her paradise that she already created for herself was not enough. With him in it, it's even more incredible because now he's sweeping her off her feet. He's her Prince Charming. But it doesn't seem to take very long for her to start to question, wait a minute, he's starting to control things. He's starting, I mean, her daughters could started seeing through it within, I think it was even a couple of weeks, and we're trying to warn her, and immediately he wanted to isolate her. All right, you guys, let's jump into the topic. And the topic really is the narcissist paradise is a nightmare. And you know that, and I know that. And if you're coming on and you're in pain, you know that what you went through was a nightmare. But for some reason, you're still clinging to the images that were good, right? The good images, the ones where you had really wonderful dates or you had really great intimate moments, not just sexually, right? But also emotionally. You thought that you connected with this person because they were telling you how perfect you are for them, and that together you two were going to make an incredible, beautiful life together. So all the future faking, which is part of the paradise image, right? So you're thinking about those times, or even possibly you're thinking about what they did provide for you. That your ex was the successful, financially successful one. You're probably thinking, yeah, I used to live in this beautiful house and have these beautiful cars and went on these great vacations and, never had to worry about money. And you're thinking that was paradise. But let me tell you, all those things are material. That's not paradise. Those are just images. And those things, I have a friend who's a Christian, and he says everything is scheduled to burn. So everything we cling on to is one day going to be destroyed and the earth will end, right? That's the theory of the end of the world. But that's why he never thought, if things are taken away from me, it's okay, because it was scheduled to burn anyway. So enjoy the things that come into your life, but when they're taken out of your life, no big deal, right? You have to be able to move on. So the reason, though, that the narcissist world is a nightmare is because of their character, what they bring into the emotional, psychological side of the relationship. And sadly, a lot of times too, they demolish people financially and physically. So it's all entirely a nightmare on every front with a narcissist. Now, there may be times where people have had a narcissist that provided all kinds of things for them, right? They were able to not work because the narcissist was financially independent, whatever, I don't know. And they were able to travel and do all these fun things, go jet skiing, go sailing, go skiing, go whatever they do, right? Swimming in the Bahamas. And they think that's paradise. But what you forget is you're with the devil, like paradise is still a nightmare when you're with the devil. So why look back and keep thinking that you're missing out? You're not. You're missing out on material things, but guess what? All that stuff is scheduled to burn. All that stuff is temporary anyway. I have seen so many stories of people. Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, so of people, let me finish my thought. I've heard of so many stories of people who were so mega successful, right? Millionaires, overnight type of thing. I was watching this documentary about this woman years ago where she was an artist and she was designing scarves, and apparently they took off. Like, people just loved her scarves and her designs. And before she knew it, everybody wanted to sell her scarves in their boutiques. So she had her own boutique, and and she was selling her scarves to other boutiques. So she was, this was in New York City. And she became a sensation in the fashion world, right? People just loved her scarves. She found this niche. And she collected all these friends, tens of, tens of friends, like 10, 20, 30 people would go out with her every weekend. And she always had 2, 3 to 5 friends around her all the time, just enjoying her money with her, I guess, right? They're always going out to eat, traveling together, partying together. She'd throw these fun dinner parties at her house with, 20, 30 people, and they'd go clubbing together, all this great, beautiful life. And she lived it for about, I want to say it was maybe 10 years, 8 to 10 years. And the fad went away. People were not as interested in her scarves anymore, and the money dried up. And she was left pretty much destitute, having to work a regular job like everybody else, right? She was no longer her own boss. And guess what happened to all those people who hung out with her, the 3 to 5 people every day? Disappeared. They disappeared. The 10, 20, 30 people who would come over to hang out with her, to have dinner or go out clubbing, disappeared. They all disappeared. This is what I mean about material wealth. It just doesn't matter. It comes and it goes. When you see these people come online and they talk about, oh, you can make millions of dollars, and you're like, okay, that's great. But then you lose it, right? You lived high for 2 to 5 years, maybe even 10 years, and then it's gone. Now what do you do, right? So don't think that this paradise that the narcissist has is forever, and that your suffering is forever. It's not. Both are temporary. Your suffering is temporary. Their success is temporary. What can be forever, though, is if you continue to hold on to the narcissist, the nightmare will be forever. And you don't want that. Holy cow. Holy cow, you guys. All right. So good to see you guys all hopping on. Good morning, Water Grove. Good to see you here. I'm not sure what's going on with my computer. I'm skipping around. Okay. Joanne Rodriguez, good to see you. Almost no one here. Whoa. I don't know what happened. It jumped. Let me go back. Hello. Jihad, good to see you. Aw, that's great. Says happy for me is I went fishing with family and friends and my kids and just had a good time since we haven't been able to go out the past few months. Yes. Yes. Go out, enjoy. I went out on a couple of bike rides. So that was pretty exciting. That was really great. My husband and I went out. And then this weekend, I have so many things going on this weekend. I'm pretty excited. Possibly going tubing, possibly going mountain biking with another friend. And also a friend's having a dinner party. So I don't know how I'm going to fit it all in, but we'll see. Aw, Water Grove says, I hug people, LOL. Yes, I'm a hugger too. And you know what? I have friends who are in that sensitive, whatever category, and they're tired of it. They're tired of not hugging. They're tired of not socializing. They're tired of wearing their mask. So, not on a grand scale, with hundreds of people or something, but they definitely hug. They definitely, embrace for long periods of time. They give really great hugs. And they definitely socialize. We eat together, we sit together, we're not 6 feet apart, for crying out loud. And I'm not saying, not to do that if you're comfortable doing that. And if someone's sick, oh my gosh, definitely keep your distance from the sick person. And sick people, if you're sick yourself, wear the mask, so you don't spread, through sneezing and whatnot. I get it. All right. Let me come down here. I started reading something and then my computer kind of skipped the screen. Oh, yes. Joanne says, almost no one here in Australia wears masks anymore. God bless Australia. You guys, God bless Australia. Yeah, and I'm waiting. It just boggles my mind. In the town where I live, okay, we have seen the tens of thousands, if not more, right? I don't know. Had it reached 100,000, maybe more? I don't know. March and protests And people are holding their hands together, arm linking, arm to arm, high-fiving, fist bumping, face to face. You know, yeah, a lot of them were wearing masks, but a lot of them were not wearing masks. And still people are walking around so afraid. And I'm thinking, oh, you guys, we need to get back to normal. There's no new normal. There's just normal. I'm sorry. I'm fighting the new normal, I guess. But I'm not fighting progress. Okay, you guys, definitely progress. We need progress as far as equality for all and kindness and safety for all. I'm all for that, you guys. Okay, let me go down here and see. I am missing quite a few comments. Okay, Joanne says I watched Dirty John. Was my ex to a T. Isn't that true? When you watch the Dirty John series, your mind is blown, because everything that is said in these channels, right, the narcissist channels, is portrayed by this guy, Dirty John. Sunny Clouds, hey, I remember seeing you before. Good to see you. Yeah, says, yep, paradise is still a nightmare when you're with the devil. Yep. And Rissa good morning. Good to see you. Says, do narcs get mad when they see you happy? Yes. They get jealous. They get mad. They're envious. They feel worse about themselves when they see you happy. They'll tell you they're happy that you're happy or things are going well for you, but in their heart, they're feeling like, did I miss out on not having that person or keeping that person? I have a video that says making the narcissist jealous or want you back. I can't remember. Can be good for you. Something like that. I'll put it in that little eye icon when my video finally uploads fully from YouTube. They are in control of that. And lately it's been taking about 20 hours, 12 to 24 hours for my videos to finally upload to the point where I can put an end screen and the little recommendations and the little right icon up top. So when that happens, I'm going to put that video up there for you guys to access if you want. Oh yeah. Nobody says you're destroying your happiness is the main source of supply for these clowns. Oh my gosh, Joanne, coverts are the worst. Yes, they are. Yeah, Watergrove says they fill with wrath when you're happy, and then they play another poor me victim card to downplay your success and start other rumors about you. Yep. Yeah. Oh, Tales from the Narc side. Good to see you here again. No need to wear garbage masks in the name of narc politics. I'm liking you more and more. Oh, you guys. God bless you guys. Dana L. He reminded me of a cockroach trying to always keep me in his darkness. But once I started attending church and studying the Bible, a bright light hit him and he ran off to the internet to prey on others. Isn't that scary? Holy cow. Very scary. All right, you guys. Hey, I'm going to ask you guys, if you can watch a video, I'm sorry, not a video, but yeah, if you would watch my other videos, that'd be great. But if you can watch a commercial once in a while on my channel, that would be great, because that's the only way I get paid. That's it. And I really don't get paid very much on YouTube. And in fact, I think YouTube is trying to make it harder and harder for creators to make money. Now, the ones that have millions of subscribers, they might be doing just fine. But I even know from their perspective, their income gets cut by 20, 30, 40%, depending on when YouTube changes its algorithms and whatnot. I don't know. So I don't get into all of that because that's not the kind of channel I am, but I'm just here to help you guys. And if you can help me out by watching a commercial once in a while, or part of a commercial, 30 seconds of one, that would be great. All right, you guys, let's also talk about how in the heck did you get into this delusion of paradise, right? How did you get in there? Well, you were lied to, you were lured in, you were targeted with a message that struck at your heart or your yearning. You know, these messages, and I mentioned them a little bit earlier. When the narcissist comes into your life, they're telling you things like, they see you, they know you, they feel like they've known you all of their life. They love everything about you. You're just perfect for them. And they tell you how special you are to them. You're the most special person in their life. You're their best friend. The narcissist tells you how much they need you, and you've never been needed before. You know, you've always been kind of part of the crowd or part of the group or part of the friends of, you know, your other exes. And you just always felt like second fiddle, right? To other people, even if you've had other boyfriends and girlfriends or spouses. But this narcissist comes in and tells you how you are needed by them. You are their number one. And that speaks to our heart. That pulls us in. That makes us feel like, wow, you know, no one else makes me feel this way. So my question and the reason I even bring all this up is when you come out of a relationship with a narcissist and you feel damaged and you're questioning, like, what happened to me? How did I fall for that? Now you feel you're even more damaged than when you entered, right, the relationship. You have to ask yourself this: what drew me in? What drew me into this narcissist? What did this narcissist do for me that made me hold tighter and tighter to them? Was it financial? I mean, I mentioned that before too. Maybe this is the first time you've ever been financially free or on stable ground, was when you were with the narcissist. Was it that they gave you stability, financial stability? They gave you a home that was clean and safe. They gave you a car that you could use. They gave you access to really a stable life, financially, that is. I'm not talking about emotionally or psychologically, but financially. For the first time, you didn't have to worry about rent, or making your next car payment. If that was what drew you to the narcissist, then you didn't really love the narcissist. You loved what the narcissist could do for you. They fed a need. They fed a deep desire. They were able to provide for something that you yearned for a long time, and possibly your deepest yearning. And if they were able to fill that, then you thought you loved them, but really you loved the good things that they brought into your life. And the reason I say that, and you're not shallow for that, the reason I say that is because they themselves, if they were a good person, you would have loved them. You would have been like, wow, and you probably did at the beginning, right? You're like, wow, this person is such an amazing person. I love them. I love this person. But the person was not real. Okay. Maybe their finances were real. Maybe that stability was real, but the person themselves was an actor. You fell in love with an actor. So that's why I say you didn't really love the narcissist, because the narcissist was never real. He was, or she was, an image, just a fantasy of perfection in your life, right? Something that, or someone who came in and was your Prince Charming, or your, excuse me, your beautiful heroine. Let me have a drink of my tea, you guys. And my goodness, you guys, don't blame yourself and get mad at yourself, but you have to reflect back. What was it that they provided? Was it because they made you feel important? Was it because they made you feel special? Right? I'm going to have a drink and then we're going to discuss why that's important. All right. So the reason it's important for you to identify what it was that the narcissist provided for you is because you can get that provision now without the narcissist. You can work on that. If it was financial stability, I think that's probably the easiest one. I know it seems like, no, that's hard, but actually emotional and psychological healing is far worse than financial healing. Financial healing can be done. It may be a little bit slow, but you work at it every day. I mean, get into some kind of program. Don't get into one of those get rich fast programs, by the way. The best advice I had ever gotten when I started working in my, I started working in my teens, but when I got my first real career job in my early 20s, I was told, by a coworker because I was filling out the, 401k stuff and the IRA stuff and whatnot. And he told me, I said, I don't even know what to write down for this. And he said, well, put away 10% of your income, whatever it is, put 10% away. If your company matches your income, put the matching. Like, I don't know if you guys know about this, but a lot of companies say they'll match 3% up to 5%, maybe more. I don't know. The one I was working for, I think, said they would match up to 5% of whatever I donated. Let me see, 5% of my income, that is. So what that means is then if I put in 5% of my income, the company will match up to also that 5%. So there I have 10% of my income going into savings right away. That is what I would recommend, even if you're working at McDonald's or anything like that. And I know it's really hard to make those ends meet. If you're working at McDonald's, then get a second job, get a second part-time job, and put all of the second part-time job money away. That, or if you get tips, put all of your tips into a savings account. Not a savings as in traditionally the savings account used to get something like, oh my gosh, you guys, 3 to 7%. I'm sorry, 3%, 2 to 3% interest. Now it gets like not even 1%. It's really sad. And then the investment accounts you used to get on average 7. And now it depends. It's been going up and down, but for a long time it's been going down. For a lot of people, it just is so crazy. That's why you want to put it in with a mutual fund. Go to a bank. I'm getting too far into this, you guys. But financially, I mean, talk to a few different financial planners at different banks, and they talk to you for free, by the way. You don't have to give them everything and all your information, but they will talk to you for free. Just schedule a time to talk to a financial planner at a bank, and they're not going to charge you. But find out, they're not going to charge you to talk to them. But anyway, that's there are ways to get financially stable, you guys. There are ways to do that. And if that was what called you to the narcissist, if that's what made you feel safe with the narcissist, and if that's what you miss the most, of course, about the narcissist, because who misses a narcissist really? Who misses all their abuse and their anger and their psycho world emotions? Nobody misses that. But you might miss the stability they gave you, or you might miss the camaraderie, right? If you're missing the camaraderie, if you're missing the companionship, the being treated well, the interactions, the times when it was good, that is, right? If you're missing that, then you can still find that. You can still find that in others. Going out, volunteering, getting involved with other people doing the same types of things that you enjoy doing. Like for me, I love kayaking, so I will go kayaking. Well, actually, I haven't gone kayaking with other people, but I plan to. But I've gone tubing with other people, and I've gone swimming with other people. I want to go skiing, but I don't live, that easily accessible to skiing, water skiing, that is. But I have skied, gone skiing, snow skiing with other people. I don't do these things a whole lot. It sounds like, wow, I have quite a crazy, amazing life. And I do actually, but I don't go every week or even every month. But I include that into my lifestyle because these are things I love. And the people I meet while I'm doing these things are really great people because they're doing things they love. So you guys, if you miss the companionship from your narcissist, find companionship with people who are not psychotic, right? People who are not crazy. All right. So when we get lured in, it's because the narcissist calls to some deep inner need that we have. And sometimes we don't even realize we have that need, right? We don't even realize the depth of that need until a narcissist walks into our life. Then we're like, wow, I really want this part of what the narcissist brought into my life, in my normal life, in my life with my other friends, or in my life with my next partner, right? My final partner, my only partner. And you can do that. You can bring that into and leave the weird, crazy nightmare part behind. Bring the paradise image part with you. And it's not going to be an image. When you implement the things that call the deepest to your heart, into your current reality, into your current life, you are not extending this fake paradise. You're bringing paradise, a real paradise, into your real life. And that's what I feel like I have right now, which this is why I talk to you guys, because I'm thinking you guys can get here. You guys can bring this paradise into your life, into your current life. I have, I don't want to say like my life is perfect. Of course not. You know, I have some issues here and there, and some days I feel really funky and down. Some days are much higher and better than others. But there are far more really great days than there are really bad days. And my really bad days are hardly bad at all. They're not as bad as they used to be. My bad days with the narcissists in my life used to be to the point where you just don't want to even live anymore. It was just so dark. You just would ask God to take you away. You know, you're just done with life. You don't even want to see the next hour. Those days are no longer a part of my life. I don't even have a moment of those, you know. Oh my gosh, it's so weird, because I will get flashbacks, I guess, if you will, or inklings of those times in my life, and it's almost like they're knocking at my brain, trying to get in. And I look at that and I go, wow, what a huge lie and nightmare that was. No, you're not allowed to come in. So I shut it out and I move on to my current life and focus on that. And it's sort of like, wow, a visit from this spirit of the past, right? And that spirit was so dark and so negative and so hopeless that, but now when I look at it, I think, how did I allow that kind of spirit, that type of thought, that type of, I don't know, mindset come into my life? But I did when I was with the narcissists in my life, because that's what they carry around. Now, they may not want to end their life, but they don't care how they make you feel. They don't care that they make your life so miserable that you want to end it. That's why it is a total nightmare, you guys, when you're with a narcissist. They don't care. And this paradise that they created to draw you in makes you feel like, well, if I can't have this paradise, then life's not worth it. And that's a total lie, because the paradise that they created is a total lie. It's fake. It's a fantasy. It never existed. Either it never existed or it's just temporary. Like I was telling you guys earlier about the story about the woman and her scarves and her scarf company. It was temporary, incredible success, but it was temporary. And that's how it is with a narcissist when they present you with this paradise, this fantasy of a life. It's a temporary situation, which then when it goes away, there's nothing to replace it but a nightmare, total nightmare, because narcissists don't recover from that. What they end up doing is they end up destroying everything around them and blaming everything around them and projecting blame and the problems and their own character, their own mistakes, their own shortcomings and their own faults onto other people. That's the huge nightmare and the reality that you're left with. Well, you guys, let me see. Keating Simons. Oh yeah, gold digger, grave digger. Wow. Sunny Cloud says, can't wait to go camping and fishing. Yeah, you know what? If you're digging for gold, you're digging your own grave. I agree about that. If you're digging for gold from other people, that is, right? Now you can create your own success, and that's great. Do that. Oh, darn it. I did not put my dogs away, and I'm going to get some growling here. Oh, yeah. I forgot I have this. A water bottle. Well, you guys, let me catch up on some of your comments. Oops. Yeah. Watergrove says, I cut them all off. No time for feeling like a fiddle. The last narc breakup was wishy-washy, I believe. He was telling people that I was needy, but actually he's used to dumb women liking his abuse. Goodness sakes. Oh, okay. I was wondering why my dog was being growly. Aw. Oh, I'm telling you, I agree with you, Tails. Totally agree with you. But, I'm not trying to be insensitive to those who have a real issue and real claims and real pain. The pain is real. I agree with that. But I agree with you. Oh, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but look this guy up, you guys. There's a man, and this is back in the 80s. KGB defected from Russia, KGB agent, and he lays out how to destabilize a nation. And as I'm watching this, I'm thinking this is how narcissists also destabilize a life. I'll tell you. Okay, so I want to share with you the narcissist, how the narcissist uses the same tactics that some countries, and I'm not going to get into great politics and deep politics and all that with you guys, because this is not what this channel is about. But a lot of narcissists will use, and it's weird because it's almost like it's a psychological game. It absolutely is a psychological game for narcissists. And the absolutely crazy thing is that governments will use the same psychological games. So Yuri, Yuri Bezmenov, 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 Yuri Bezmenov. So if you look up his videos, I think he has a couple of hour-long videos where he talks and lays out how his government tries to destabilize their enemies' government, their enemies' countries. And the first thing he talks about, and I didn't write it all down, take notes and all that, you guys, but the first thing he talks about reminds me of flying monkeys. He calls them the useful idiots. I was like, oh, that's a really good name for flying monkeys, actually. Useful idiots. He doesn't refer to them as flying monkeys at all. I'm just translating to the narcissist world. But to destabilize a nation, what they first do is they cater to people they know they can manipulate. They cater to people and make those people feel heard. They make those people feel important. They make those people feel like they're fighting for a certain cause, right? They make those people feel like they're on the good side if they're on the bad government side, or in our case, the narcissist side. So that's what they do first. They find their useful idiots, those who are easily manipulated, and in large quantities, right? Large groups of them. They start movements of people. They start organizations of people to believe that they are doing good things, and what they're actually doing is perpetuating actually immorality. They're perpetuating evil. They're perpetuating destroying what their country or what their beliefs, their own parents' beliefs are, right? Their own core foundation of their country. And I compare that to flying monkeys, because that's what narcissists do. They gather their flying monkeys, they're useful idiots, and people they know they can manipulate into believing all of their stories of who the good guy is, the narcissist, of course, right? And who the bad guy is, you or their exes, right? So once the flying monkey or the useful idiots believe the narcissist and believes like, oh, well, the narcissist is the good, shining, pillar of light and all that is good, then I must fight all that is the enemy of this pillar of good. So of good and freedom and, I don't know, whatever it is they think is great. And they want to believe all the X's of the narcissist or of that government must be then bad and controlling, and that's what narcissists will tell their new supply and to their flying monkeys, their useful idiots, because they will say things like, well, and tell you stories. My family was so terrible to me. Remember, they're always the victim. My exes treated me badly and kicked me out of my house and left me homeless. And the flying monkeys believe it. And sometimes, not just the flying monkeys, by the way, the new supply believes it. We believed it, right? We were fogged for that time period as well. And we became a useful idiot to the narcissist, a flying monkey to the narcissist, if not their supremo supply, right? We became their supply to the narcissist. And when I was telling you guys about how did we end up here? How did we end up in this nightmare? How did we get pulled into this fake paradise? It's because the narcissists lie. They lie, 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 and lie. That's what they do. So when they're lying to you, they will use things, and I've said this before, they will use some truth. The most believable lie is a lie with some truth in it. So they'll tell you things like, okay, my ex kicked me out of the house and left me homeless. And yeah, this person was kicked out of the house. They were left homeless. And you're like, what a horrible person. And then they fill in with, because my ex was a controlling, crazy freak or this and that, and wanted me to clip her toenails. I mean, the narcissist will make up, just lies like that about how enslaving you were, or their ex was, right, to them. And you believe that part because there was some truth that they presented. The kicking out of the house part, yeah, they were kicked out. That seems very harsh. That seems really heartless. So if the ex is heartless enough to kick them out of the house, then you start believing all this made up junk that now they're making up about their ex. So this is what narcissists do to collect their flying monkeys. They tell their sob story. They tell part of it. They don't tell the whole thing, but they give you enough truth that you believe it, or that so that the flying monkeys believe it, or so that their fan club believes it, right? Or they're useful idiots. I love that term now. I'm like, useful idiots. Okay, you guys, the sad thing about useful idiots in Yuri's video, by the way, he says, is that they are on the destroy list. Yeah. What that means is once the narcissist is done with the flying monkey, they will either, in our world, what happens is the narcissist just abandons them and moves on and just cuts them out because I don't need you anymore. And now I've moved on to a higher, more successful group of people. So they cut out their useful idiots, their useful flying monkeys, and collect new flying monkeys who may have more access to power or access to finances. Or what he mentions that with governments. Once the government is done with their useful idiots who brought in immorality, who supported their cause, who tried to dismantle and mock their enemies so that their enemies no longer have power, then now the useful idiots are not needed anymore. They've done their job, right? So same thing with the narcissist. Once their flying monkeys have mocked the ex, once the flying monkeys have ostracized and cursed and made life miserable for their ex, and the this has moved on to a new supply and no longer needs to focus on their ex, they're like, oh, well, I don't need those flying monkeys anymore because they don't add anything to my new life. So, their life with their new supply. So they just cut them out of their life. In the case with Yuri Bezmenov, they actually destroy. They even physically just get rid of them, the useful idiots, because now they don't need them anymore to destabilize the country. They destabilized it, and now the narcissist or that government can take over. You guys, it is eye-opening. So look that video up. I wanted to say this image of paradise that we have, we think that they're continuing it on with their new supply. But you and I know the reality is they're continuing on with their horrible behavior, their narcissistic ways, their self-centeredness. Yeah, they might bring some of, the other things with them, like they did with you that brought you in, right? They'll bring in the excitement, the fun, the passion. But then I wanted to give you guys some scenarios of what it looks like. Yeah. What it looks like when, during sex, you're being told you're everything to the narcissist. You're everything the narcissist wanted and needed. But then the next morning, They treat you like you're an idiot because you forgot to start the coffee, right? They treat you like a jerk, you know. They treat you like a slave because you didn't make the bed for them. They yell at you because you didn't remember to go get their dry cleaning. That's the nightmare. The night before, it was just amazing and passionate, and they're yelling and telling you, you know, out in passion, that is, telling you how you complete them and they can't live without you, and they've never had such amazing passion with anybody except for you, and you think this is paradise. And then the next morning, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare how they treat you throughout the day. And then later that night, they want to bring paradise back in again into the bedroom. You're like, what the heck? You know, what is this? So that is what is happening also with the new supply. So here they are. What you see of the new supply and their weird fake paradise life is, you know, they're all over each other at the restaurant. They're all over each other on Facebook. They're making out even, you know, in public. And you're thinking, wow, so passionate, right? And they're laughing and they look like they're enjoying themselves. Well, they go home and guess what? The exact same stuff that happened to you is happening to the new supply. Why didn't you pick up my dry cleaning? Why is this place a mess? You know, why don't you make enough money? Why are we always poor? You know, it's just crap like this. It will go on and on, the nightmare. So the fake part is the paradise, which is sad, but sad for the new supply, right? Good for us that we got out of there. Okay. Another thing that the narcissist does in the nightmare, by the way, and it is just inevitable. It will happen no matter with whom, right? They are going to do this. The blame shifting, the projecting. They're going to start getting irritated with the new supply. They got irritated with you, right? And even in a Dirty John movie, or I don't know, documentary I was watching, it started off beautiful, and she could do no wrong, right, with him, and he wanted to protect her and he loved her and whatnot. And then it was blaming her for not trusting him, and how dare she. I can't even remember. I watched this documentary a few years ago, but he starts making her life a nightmare, just with total control. And that's what narcissists do. They will take over your life. They will sabotage any connection you might have with others who are trying to pull you back into reality. They will convince you that those people are bad for you, but the narcissist is good for you, because the narcissist, they will say that themselves, they have your best interest at heart. And everybody else that has loved you and been there for you all of your life, they are jealous of you, or they don't really want you to be happy. And that's why they're against you and the narcissist being together. This is the lying that begins in every relationship with the narcissist. And then not only that, or they may not tell you you're not allowed to be with your friends anymore, but they will put down your friends, right? Until you start losing respect for your friends or your family. And they, in the case of Dirty John, he does try to sever her ties with her daughters, but she secretly goes and has lunch with her daughter. She regularly goes and does that, but she has to do it secretly. Yep. They're going to start in the nightmare. You know this nightmare, and I know this nightmare. But in their nightmare, they will blame you for every failure that they encounter, right? If something goes wrong, it is absolutely your fault. If you guys were late getting to a party, or late getting to a lecture or a movie, it's because you took too long to get dressed, not because they forgot to fill up the car and you guys had to stop and fill up the car, right? So whatever, that's the nightmare. It's not like they can just roll with it and have a good time. All right. Oh yeah, I had also wanted to bring up, you know, other things that they'll say to you or what they'll do in this nightmare of a relationship. they're going to reason with you about why the nightmare is okay, right? They're going to tell you that they have bad days and bad moments or failures, but then they're going to blame you for it and make you believe you're the cause of it. So if you hadn't caused this, then things wouldn't be as bad as they are, right? So you start to think, okay, then it's my fault that this is turning into a nightmare, not because of you, but because of me. And they'll even tell you why it was they had to cheat on you. So that's also your fault because of, and I'm not going to go into their reasons. You can imagine, but they're going to say that everything that they do that makes your relationship a nightmare is actually your fault, not their fault, because they're going to act as if they had no other choice. They had no other choice but to do what they did that made the relationship a nightmare because it started with you. And that's how they're going to put it. So when you're with a narcissist and you're in this crazy town, you thought it was paradise, right? Now you're starting to realize it's not paradise. It's starting to feel like a nightmare. In fact, you feel like you're walking on eggshells all the time. You don't feel like you hardly feel happy ever, right? The joy, the happiness, the laughter you used to have, the great intimate times you had, you could probably still be very intimate with each other, but it's not this emotional, spiritual connection anymore during that. Now it's just, yeah, it feels good, but I'm not really connecting with this person emotionally or spiritually anymore during those times. It's because the narcissist doesn't see you as truly their soulmate. They don't. They don't see you as a person. They see you as an extension of them. They see you as a tool to be used by them to make their life better. So how can that be a soulmate? A soulmate are two complete different people who come together and I don't want to say they complete each other, but they make each other's lives better, right? They improve, each of them improves the other's life. It's not like one just takes and takes from the other and the other one's left depleted and only one gets to feel fulfilled. That's what's going on in the nightmare. And you start to go, well, why am I feeling so depleted if everything's supposed to be a paradise, right? They start to teach you. The narcissist world and thinking starts to seep into your head until you start feeling like, I'm going nuts, I'm going crazy. Why, if this is a paradise, do I feel like I'm going crazy? Why can't I see what's good and what's, and your body, your senses are all fighting it. And you're like, no, that doesn't seem right. That doesn't feel right. But the narcissist is so controlling and so convincing and so argumentative that eventually you just give in. And you're like, okay, maybe they're right. And they're so persistent on it too. You're like, okay, the only way to get past this argument or past this conversation with them is just to agree with them. And you start to accept their version, their perception of this crazy fake non-reality, right? This crazy fake life that they are sending you into. And here you are, you're supposed to be living this paradise, right? You're supposed to be living this wonderful, beautiful life with your soulmate. You have financial stability, maybe you have like incredible connection, emotional connection, and yet you're walking on eggshells. Yet you're walking on eggshells because you don't know at any moment the narcissist is going to explode. At any moment, the narcissist comes off of this incredible high of passion and excitement to this incredible low of hatred and still passion. Passion and hatred is horrible. And that's what you start to see. Their paranoid delusions are now supposed to be your reality. And they try to force you to believe their paranoid delusion. They're trying to tell you everybody's against you. They're trying to tell you this person that you like, don't like them. And then they make up stories about them and you're like, but that doesn't sound like them. That doesn't sound right. It's the narcissist delusion. And they are forcing you to believe it because if you don't believe it, then you don't love them. That's the control. If somebody says that, oh, run the other way. Because if you don't believe them, now you're part of the problem. If you don't believe them, then you or live in their delusion. If you don't accept their delusion as reality, that this person is a cheater, or that person is a liar, or this person is your enemy, if you don't believe them, then you now are their enemy. Are you seeing this nightmare starting to come in? You're seeing the nightmare like totally enveloping the entire paradise story now? That's what the new supply is also living with. Because if the new supply does not believe everything the narcissist is telling them about you, then the new supply is the enemy. So the new supply has to believe everything the narcissist is telling them about you and all their exes and all the people who victimize the narcissist. Because if they don't believe it and they don't live in that delusional fantasy with the narcissist, then now the new supply is the enemy as well. Yep. And what happens here, it's not a relationship. It's a horrible, I don't know, existence, I guess, with the narcissist. Because who wants to be in a relationship with someone who does not allow you to question, does not allow you to pause, doesn't allow you to think individually from them, doesn't allow you to have your own opinions, doesn't allow you to have any input in their life? That's not a relationship. It's just simply a control situation. And you've given up your own person. You've given up your own rights. You've given up your own individuality in order for them to say you're in a relationship with them. So that's a huge nightmare, because that continues on. As that continues on, what you've been experiencing is devaluation. Yeah. So at the beginning, you're everything to them. They can't live without you. You're perfect for them. You complete them. I hate that one, by the way. You make them feel things they've never felt before, right? All these things that drew you in, that make you think that you're so special, right? You're so special to them. You're their number one, and you're nobody else's number one. So of course you're thinking, wow, at least I get to be this guy or this woman's number one, person in their life, and the first person they think of, the first person they want to be with. But in reality, what they're doing is they're grooming you to be controlled by them. They're grooming you to be a flying monkey. And if you guys were here with me a little bit earlier, they're grooming you to be a useful idiot, someone who is easily manipulated to do what they want you to do, right? So after that happens, then the devaluation starts. It's all the control comes in, because they need now to control you. Once they've manipulated you to believe everything about them is true, the good things are true and all the bad things are about their exes. They're always the victim of their exes and their family, but they're also the hero to everybody else because they persevered and they survived and whatnot, okay? Or they were the good people who made things better for others, whatever. So now you're required to live in their delusional world without questioning them. No pausing, no hesitation. You have to be with them or you are against them. And you feel like you start living on these eggshells. The devaluation begins and continues until the very end, where they then discard you, or you just have had enough and you have to leave in order to save any portion of yourself that's left, right? That's the nightmare that we have escaped. Even if you were discarded, it was a nightmare. And when you've been discarded, a lot of times, and even if you weren't discarded and you were the one who left, sometimes you will look back and you think, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was supposed to, I messed things up, because you've been told and conditioned and manipulated for so long to believe right is wrong and wrong is right. And so your mind is mixed up. That's why you have to go no contact, because you cannot see straight through the fog and perception of the narcissist. It's like the narcissist put contacts in your eyes that have the narcissist prescription, and you can only see what the narcissist wants you to see. I don't want, that's a bad example, but say they put these glasses on you and it blocks out your peripheral vision and it makes you focus on only what the narcissist wants you to focus on. You have to take those glasses off. You cannot keep those glasses on and find reality. You cannot keep those glasses on and be able to detach from the narcissist, because those glasses have you focused only on the narcissist's delusional world. All right, you guys. So I want to check and see how you guys all are doing. Joanne Rodriguez says, hello, Escape from Crazytown. It's my first time on here, but have been listening and learning a lot from you for a while now. Thank you so much. You're welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm glad that you got on. Yeah. Sunny Cloud says, the last one only lasted a year and I got off the roller coaster after the first discard. It was heartbreaking after I noticed the same cycle. And you guys, that's why it's really important to ask yourself, what was it that drew me to this narcissist at the beginning of the relationship? You have to ask that very hard question of yourself. And at first, it's going to make you feel like you want the narcissist back, right? Oh, well, they made me feel special. They did nice things for me. They treated me well. They surprised, they brought me beautiful surprises, okay? These are all things that other people can do for you. These are all things that a healthy person can do for you, but a narcissist will also do these things for you to pull you in. Now, these are the things that pulled you into the narcissist. Then know that these are things that you do want in your life, but then find out why it is you want those things in your life. Is it because you don't feel seen by most people? If you're not feeling seen by most people, you don't feel special to most people, or you don't feel like a very special person or that you matter, then there are things in your life that you need to address. You need to figure out, why is it that you feel like you don't matter? Why do you feel like that you need somebody to tell you that you matter, right? Where are you getting this affirmation? That's when narcissists can come in, swoop in, and drag you into their world, or entice you. They don't even have to drag you. They entice you into their world. And you don't want to be enticed again into another narcissist world, right? Because you will repeat the same nightmare. All right, you guys, let me see what else is going on here. Oh, you know what? I don't get to see all the, I don't know. Okay, I don't get to see all your comments because YouTube automatically just does top comments unless I change it, and I forget sometimes to change that. Joanne Rodriguez says, yes, he chased me like a greyhound in the beginning. Yeah. Honeybee, good to see you. Says, I don't understand how they can live like that with constant lies. Because their whole life is a lie. They live in a delusion. They're not even truthful to themselves. They're not. Oh my gosh, I watch crime shows, if you guys don't know that. Because, for one, not because of the gore. I don't care for the gore and all that. I watch crime shows most of the time, only the ones really where they catch the guy, because that gives me hope. It gives me hope that, oh my gosh, there is justice in this world where the bad guy gets caught, and I can pray for the families of the victims. And for the victims, I feel so sad for the victims. But my point about watching these crime shows is that I see traits of narcissistic personality disorder, and they say psychopaths and sociopaths all have NPD. I'm not sure, like some psychologists believe that, probably not all, but they believe that psychopaths and sociopaths have NPD. So it shows in how they behave, in their character, and even in their interviews by the police, right? Their recorded interviews by the police. You watch their rage, it's insane. You watch what they say at trial, it's insane. They tell you that, they had to murder, right? And they fake the whole victim thing. You watch them, it's just incredible. Even though there's video evidence of them saying, or video evidence of them playing victim to their victim months before, and their target is telling them, get away from me, you scare me, I don't, why are you harassing me? And then later on they'll try to convince a court that it was their victim who was harassing them. It's just insane. It's total insanity, you guys. So when you think, how can someone live like this? And that's where I wonder, like, where does narcissism cross over into psychopathy? Where does it cross over into sociopathy? I'm not sure. I'm not sure where the line is, but I guess there are more people who have NPD than there are who are psychopaths, like full-blown psychopaths or full-blown sociopaths. But there can be a lot of people who have some of the symptoms of narcissism, right? They have to have at least 5. And I listed them, by the way, in my last video about Betty Broderick. Yeah, I have it in my discussion. I pinned the 9 traits that diagnose narcissistic personality disorder. So if you want to see that, go to the last video and about Betty Broderick and see, go to the comments, and it's pinned to the top. They have to meet 5 of those 9 characteristics to be diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. So I guess if they only have 5, I can see how maybe they don't cross over into psychopathy and into sociopathy. I don't know. But all I know is that if they're that close to a psychopath, brain wise, then you got to be so careful with narcissists, because they will ruin you and then not care, just not care. And that makes them extremely dangerous. Okay, Obi-Wan says, I used to have NPD until I had a near-death experience that changed my whole outlook on life. So I guess, when people say that narcissism can be cured, or some people are like, no, it can't. I think like the true narcissists who are more psychopathic, really, are not treatable. But I think people who behave narcissistically, right? People who may have been conditioned to be narcissistic, people who may have been raised by narcissists, do exhibit a lot of those traits for NPD. And they learn to live with those traits. They learn to incorporate those traits into their personality. But those traits are only used for survival and existence, because that's what they were taught to use as tools to get their way, to move forward, or, as far as narcissists do move forward, and to progress in life. That's what the tools they were given. So they use those tools. But then when you learn that these tools suck, you learn that these tools are horrible and bad and what effect they actually have on your relationship, you learn that these are actually tools of destruction and not tools that build, then you start exchanging out those tools, right? Hopefully you can do it on your own, but if you can't, then you get counseling, and the counselors who are used to narcissistic personality disorder. And by the way, counselors are not all the same. There are definitely some that are way better than others. I have friends who are counselors, and yeah, I know some who are just amazing, incredible counselors. So, and I know some that are not. All right. So I just want to let you know that be careful, and you can shop around for counselors, by the way. You can shop around for ones that understand narcissistic personality disorder, understands their traits, understands the tools they use. And if you have those tendencies, they can help you exchange out those tools for real tools, for good tools, and bring you to a place where you're no longer acting narcissistic. So Obi-Wan, thank you for bringing that up. Yeah. Oh, that's a good question, Keating. Says, when did you obtain empathy? That is a good question. And it might be something that you're learning still. I don't know. I think, yeah, Obi, you'll have to answer that yourself. Yeah. And that is a huge one, right? Because we say, and that actually, that is not even the only trait of narcissism, by the way. What I don't understand, and I thought that all narcissists just have no empathy. But apparently, if you follow the DSM manual, Diagnostic Statistical Manual for Mental Health, Um, you only have to fulfill 5 of the 9, and only one of the 9 is about empathy. So that means that they could have empathy. But here's my thing. I do have a video on how narcissists, real narcissists that is, have empathy. They have empathy for the wrong people. So for people to say narcissists have no empathy, I think that's not true. They do have empathy. The empathy is really, really skewed. Maybe, yeah, and maybe they can be trained. If they're not true narcissists, they can be trained to have empathy for the right reasons and for the right people, and see that there truly is good and evil, and that they were having empathy for what was evil because they're so deluded and they were so deceived by their own lies that they couldn't tell who truly was the good guy and who truly was the bad. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that. That's another whole video, which actually I have done, and I will put into that eye icon in about 20 hours when YouTube uploads this video for me to do that, to be able to edit the video and add a little eye icon for my video that says, do narcissists have empathy? And I think that'll help you have a little bit of insight, because I use some examples from my own life, from the narcissist in my life, and how they had shown empathy. You'll be blown away. Just the things that they have empathy for. You're just crazy. It's just Crazytown. Yeah. Obi, that's great. It says 20 years ago is when he obtained empathy. So I was aware of what people were doing because I used to think like that. Yeah. That's why I don't think you're a narcissist, Obi-Wan. I think that you were narcissistic. You probably have really great insight, by the way, into narcissism, because you know what their traits are that you had taken on. And once you identify those traits, you're like, I don't want to be like that. Narcissists do not have that ability. They don't have the ability of saying, I don't want to be like that. They don't have the ability of trading out the tools that they use to destroy. They just continue to destroy. Whereas someone who's just narcissistic will want to change. They don't want to be this way. Yeah. Well, you guys, we are getting past, way past our hour, and I'm going to let you wrap up your conversations, and I'm going to read a few more of your comments. Oh, here we go. Water Grove. Oops. Wow, comments are moving by really fast here. Water Grove says, my last therapist from a women's refuge in Lower Hut is my ex's flying monkey. Ooh, she helped ruin me and my baby. Her name, oh, I don't want to go into that, but yeah. Yeah, you guys, exactly. Not all therapists are the same, and you have to shop around to make sure you get the credentials and ask them. You can interview your therapist. You can interview your counselor and ask them what is their experience with narcissism. And they should answer you. If they say, oh, I can't tell you that, then you might want to go to a different therapist. Because if they can't tell you their experience with narcissism, and if they can, if their belief, see, this is where I am. If their belief is that they can change a narcissist, like a real narcissist, then I don't know that they're that well versed in narcissism. I think that they're not going to be that helpful to you, because they're going to be one of the flying monkeys, like Carrie was saying earlier, because they're going to, or Watergrove, sorry, was saying earlier, because those therapists have no clue. They don't understand the depth of the harm that narcissists do. They just don't. They've never experienced narcissistic, or actually, I shouldn't say that. They may have experienced narcissistic abuse, but they don't understand it. They don't understand that it is incurable. But if they can differentiate between someone who's narcissistic, yeah, they can help that person. But if someone is a narcissist, you can kind of curb their behavior with boundaries, but whether the narcissist adheres to those boundaries or not, they cannot enforce that, nor can they make a narcissist want to abide by the boundaries. Anyway, that's just my thought. Take it for what it is. I would say definitely definitely interview your counselor and make sure that they have the credentials and the experience that can help you, and the understanding. They absolutely need the understanding. Maybe they don't have experience yet with narcissism, but they fully understand what narcissistic personality disorder is. And if they can explain it to you and talk to you about examples of it, and then I would say, sure, see what that counselor can help you with. Obi says, I know everything and it's annoying. What do you mean you know everything? That's weird. Wow. I missed a bunch of comments. That's the sad thing for me. uh, Steffi B, good to see you. Says, listening to you helps me so much. Oh, I'm so glad. So glad to have you here. And Honeybee says, it's like they have no conscience. Exactly. That's my thing with narcissists. Ah, so, my mom, who I think is a narcissist, I think she has something of a conscience. I mean, I'm still confused because I think she has a conscience, but then again, I'm not sure if that conscience is driven by self-centeredness and it is a real conscience, or is it, I just don't know. I just don't know. And that's sad to say. It really is. Yeah, Obi says, I was conditioned at an early age from my surroundings. Absolutely. Absolutely. I can understand that. Water Grove. Not even a good hiding will teach an narc. No, they don't. Consequences to, excuse me, consequences to their actions don't teach them. Like we do. We adjust because of consequences to our actions. And when you take away the consequences to a person's actions, you take away their ability or their opportunity to learn, right, from the consequences. So narcissists, though, they can have consequences, but they will still not learn. And they don't learn because they continue to blame other people. They don't take responsibility. And if they don't take responsibility, they cannot change. They think it's out of their hands, and that they just have to keep doing what they're doing and receiving the same consequence, but they keep blaming those consequences on somebody else. Yep. So taking responsibility is actually extremely empowering, you guys. Take responsibility. Taking responsibility empowers you to change your life. It just does. And it's okay to say, I'm sorry and I messed up. I'm taking responsibility because I don't want to mess up anymore. I don't want to continue in this way. I don't want to continue to use these tools of destruction. I want to use tools to construct. So, you guys, this has been a really good talk, and I appreciate you coming on here. I hope this has helped you. I'm wondering if I have given you, I usually don't tell you everything that I wanted to tell you, but I'm hoping that what we did cover today has helped you to realize that you are not missing out on some paradise, because the narcissist paradise is a nightmare. The paradise part is a mirage. It's only to draw you in, to get you close so that you think you're going to get this cool drink of water. You don't. Instead, you get mud and filth, and then you come out worse than you were before. So don't think that whoever's in the narcissist, your ex-narcissist life right now, is living in paradise. They're not. They're living in a nightmare. So you guys, just be glad. The good news is you're out, right? The good news is you made it out, and now you don't have to live in that mud and mire anymore. You get to move on. You get to clean off. You get to rebuild. You get new tools now, right? That will construct a new, beautiful life. And now, if you're asking yourself what drew you initially to that narcissist, you can implement those things in a good way with good people so that your life is fulfilling. So many blessings to you guys. I wish you well, and I wish you a good life. And I do wish you paradise on earth. I wish you love and joy and peace and truth. Stick with that, you guys. Blessings to you, and I will see you next week.